Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hot Saki. I'm an intuitive artist and empath, and this video is a part of my vlog series where I delve a bit deeper. Today, I wanted to share something deeply personal, an energy self-portrait and the story behind the colors, the psychology, and the journey that shaped them and me. This isn't just art, this is who I've become and everything I had to travel through to get here. Before we get started, please consider supporting me and this channel on my journey to 1,000 subscribers by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Or if you'd like to support me further, you can visit my artwork at hotsaki.pictorum.com. Your support means more than words can express. Now, let's paint. When I look at this portrait, I see more than brushstrokes. I see a timeline, a psychological map of every version of me I've had to live through. The black in this painting, that's my earliest memory of myself, quiet, watching, absorbing everything. Black in color psychology isn't negative, it's depth, privacy, and complexity. It's the child in me who felt everything and said nothing. The reds and pinks, those are parts of me that were always there but had no place to go. Red is intensity and survival. Pink is individuality and emotional courage. Those colors didn't show up in my life until much later, but they were always trying to express themselves. I was born in 1970 in a small town in South Georgia to very young parents. My father was in the Army and my mother was a housewife. By the time I was 3, we'd already left the States and moved to the Netherlands. I was a shy, quiet, emotional child, not because I didn't have thoughts or I didn't want to express them, but because I was terrified of saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, or being the wrong thing. Every room I walked into, I absorbed the energy of others. Every emotion around me, I carried. I didn't have the vocabulary for what being an empath meant at the time. I only knew that everything felt louder to me than it did to everyone else. We lived in the Netherlands, then Texas, then Panama, then Colorado, and then finally back to Georgia. Each move meant starting over, a new school, new people, new culture, and each time we left, the friends I made just disappeared from my life. So I adapted. I learned to be quieter. I learned not to get attached. I learned to exist on my own. I had 2 older brothers and a younger sister, but emotionally I often felt alone. And by high school, I barely spoke publicly. I was fine at home. I spent a lot of time in my room, but I was vocal. I felt like I could mostly express myself, but never publicly and never in school. People and my classmates were shocked when they heard my voice, when they heard me speak, because silence had become my safest place. College was the first time I really tried to speak and come out of my shell, mostly because I didn't have a choice if I wanted to make friends. I remember the first week I sat alone in my room and I was afraid to go to the cafeteria to eat. Old habits, old fears that I knew that I had to break. And so I made myself talk to the girls across the hall. And I made myself go to the cafeteria to eat. I became a bit of a people pleaser, doing whatever I could to avoid conflict. I followed the rules, I worked hard, did what I was told. And yet finding work and friendships and relationships, they just felt harder for me than everyone else. What I couldn't see then that I know now is that my sensitivity wasn't a weakness. It was data. It was intuition. It was a way of understanding the world that most people never experience. I barely remember my 20s. I call it my lost decade. I was uninspired, unmotivated, and unsure. I managed to graduate college on my second try and found work, but struggled to find meaning in any of it. I had several dead-end relationships before eventually meeting my husband and getting married in my early 30s. We had 2 incredible boys who I still consider the greatest joy of my life, and I dedicated myself to being a mother and a wife. The marriage didn't last, but the friendship did, and that's something I'm grateful for. But it wasn't until after my divorce that something in me finally cracked open. I began finding my voice, not that quiet survival voice, but the real one. I realized that parts of me I had been shamed for, my empathy, my sensitivity, my emotional depth, they were my powers. Being a single mother defined my 40s. Every choice I made was dedicated by how it would affect my boys. My only concern was giving them stability. And so when my youngest graduated high school, I felt another shift. For the first time in my life, I asked myself what I wanted, not what was expected, not what was safe, and not what made other people comfortable. That's when I sold my house and moved to the UK. I gave myself permission to reset my life from the ground up. Today, I live with more self-belief than I ever thought I'd have. I understand my place in the world, my relationship with spirit, with the universe, and with myself. I see my childhood through a new lens, not as something that damaged me, but as something that prepared me. Every move taught me adaptability. Every silence taught me observation. Every heartbreak taught me resilience. Every fear taught me courage. My greatest joy now is sharing what I've learned to help others heal and understand themselves and maybe grow and evolve a little bit. If my sensitivity, my empathy, and my voice can help someone else feel seen, then every part of this journey has been worth it. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for allowing me to show you the colors of who I truly am. Until next time, may your spirit be grounded, may your heart be open, and may your energy remain radiant.